Was Jesus truly a rebel, not merely against the Roman Empire, but against the very religious structures of his time? Consider the profound implications. He overturned tables in the sacred temple, directly challenged esteemed priests, and seemingly disregarded laws held dear by his own faith leaders. He didn't arrive to merely establish another religion, he came to expose hypocrisy and call humanity to a deeper truth. So, was Jesus the ultimate reformer, a divine revolutionary, or perhaps the most profoundly misunderstood figure in religious history? This question invites us to look beyond superficial narratives and delve into the heart of his mission. Welcome, seekers of truth, to the Scholar's Ledger, where the intricate threads of history, faith, and power are thoughtfully revealed. If you are drawn to uncovering the authentic stories behind Christianity and its ancient roots, we invite you to subscribe, share, and join our collective journey into understanding. Our aim is to illuminate, inform, and inspire deeper reflection on these timeless questions. To truly grasp the essence of Jesus' message, we must first immerse ourselves in the vibrant yet often turbulent world he inhabited. First century Judea was a crucible of religious fervor, marked by elaborate temples, intricate laws, and deeply ingrained rituals and sacrifices. Yet, beneath this devout surface, significant currents of corruption and political maneuvering were undeniably present. This was a society steeped in religious practice, but also one grappling with its spiritual integrity. The priestly class, largely composed of the Sadducees, held significant power and often collaborated closely with the Roman occupying forces. Their primary concern was maintaining the temple system and their own privileged status, which sometimes meant compromising with imperial authority. This alliance often placed them at odds with the common people and other Jewish factions. Their focus was largely on the written Torah and the temple rituals, often downplaying oral traditions. In contrast, the Pharisees, revered as teachers of the law, meticulously studied and interpreted the Torah, adding layers of oral traditions and detailed interpretations. While many were sincere in their devotion, their emphasis on external observance and human-made rules sometimes overshadowed the spirit of God's commandments. They sought to make holiness accessible through strict adherence to a comprehensive legal framework. This created a complex web of expectations for daily life. Amidst this intricate religious tapestry, Roman coins bearing Caesar's image circulated, a constant reminder of foreign dominion and the tension between religious identity and political subjugation. The temple, though central to Jewish worship, had become a place where commercial interests sometimes overshadowed spiritual devotion. This environment was ripe for a prophetic voice, one that would challenge both religious complacency and political compromise. When Jesus emerged, preaching a radical message of mercy, justice, and an authentic, heart-centered relationship with God, he inherently challenged this established order. His teachings did not fit neatly into their existing categories or power structures. He spoke of a kingdom not of this world, yet profoundly impacting it. His presence was perceived as a direct threat to the delicate balance of power and tradition that defined their society. Jesus did not merely offer gentle critiques. He confronted the religious elite of his day with profound and often searing honesty. He famously labeled them blind guides and whitewashed tombs, powerful metaphors that exposed their outward piety masking inner spiritual decay. His accusations were not born of malice, but of a deep sorrow for their spiritual blindness and their love of power over truth. He saw their practices as obscuring God's true intentions. Consider his actions on the Sabbath, a day of sacred rest. When Jesus healed individuals on the Sabbath, he was not flouting God's divine law, which he upheld. Instead, he was powerfully demonstrating that compassion and human need superseded rigid man-made interpretations of the law. He revealed that the Sabbath was made for humanity, not humanity for the Sabbath, challenging a legalistic approach that had lost its heart. This act was a profound theological statement. These acts of healing and his challenging words were not merely isolated incidents. They were consistent expressions of his mission to restore true worship and authentic faith. The religious elite, witnessing his growing influence and his disregard for their traditions, began to whisper conspiracies against him. They saw him as a dangerous disruptor, a threat to their authority and the social order they meticulously maintained. Their fear was palpable. The crowds, however, often reacted with awe and wonder at his authority, recognizing a spiritual power and authenticity that transcended the teachings of their scribes and Pharisees. Jesus' message was dangerous, not to those who acknowledged their sinfulness, but to the entrenched system that had become self-serving and spiritually bankrupt. He exposed how religion, when divorced from love and justice, could become an instrument of oppression rather than liberation. His challenge was to the very core of their understanding of God and righteousness. Then came the pivotal moment when Jesus entered the Jerusalem temple, the very heart of Jewish worship and national identity. What he found there was not pure devotion, but a bustling marketplace where merchants exploited the faithful, turning a house of prayer into a den of commerce. This scene deeply grieved and angered him, as it represented a profound desecration of sacred space and purpose. The spiritual integrity of the temple was compromised. With righteous indignation, Jesus overturned the tables of the money changers, scattering their coins across the stone floors, and released the doves from their cages. His powerful declaration, "My Father's house is a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves," Luke 19:46, was far more than a polite sermon. It was a dramatic, prophetic act of open rebellion against systemic religious corruption. This was a direct challenge to the temple authorities. This audacious act, witnessed by shocked and angry priests, was not an impulsive outburst but a deliberate, symbolic gesture. It echoed ancient prophetic traditions, calling Israel back to true worship and justice. For the religious authorities, this public defiance in their most sacred space was the final straw, an unforgivable affront to their power and prestige. It solidified their resolve to silence him. To Jesus, however, this was not merely an act of defiance, it was an act of divine justice and purification. He was reclaiming the sanctity of God's dwelling place and challenging the economic exploitation that preyed upon sincere worshippers. This incident underscored his unwavering commitment to spiritual integrity over institutional convenience. It was a powerful illustration of his mission to cleanse and renew. Jesus was never anti-faith. Rather, he was profoundly anti-fake faith, against any religious practice that lacked genuine spiritual substance. He taught that the kingdom of God was not confined to physical temples or elaborate rituals, but was a transformative reality found within the human heart. His declaration, "The kingdom of God is within you," Luke 17:21, was a revolutionary concept, shifting the locus of divine encounter from external structures to internal experience. This challenged centuries of religious understanding. He radically welcomed those whom the religious establishment had marginalized and pushed away: sinners, tax collectors, women, and the poor. By dining with outcasts and touching lepers, Jesus demonstrated a radical inclusion that shattered social and religious barriers. He showed that God's love extended to everyone, regardless of their social standing or perceived sinfulness. This was a profound redefinition of holiness and community. His teachings on hillsides, by the sea, and in humble homes gathered a diverse following, people from all walks of life who found acceptance and hope in his message. This was a movement built on love, compassion, and radical grace, not on rigid rules or hierarchical control. It was a spiritual revolution that transcended the boundaries of conventional religion. This movement was organic and deeply personal. In doing so, Jesus initiated a spiritual movement that the prevailing religious systems could not contain, nor could the Roman government ultimately stop. It was a movement focused on transforming hearts, not merely performing religious rituals. He offered a path to God that was accessible to all, emphasizing inner transformation over outward conformity. This was a profound challenge to the very nature of religious authority. The profound irony of history is that the very religious and political systems that condemned Jesus later appropriated his name to build vast empires and institutions. Yet, at the core of his original message was never an emphasis on ritualistic hierarchy or institutional power. Instead, it was a profound call to love, spiritual freedom, and unwavering truth. His teachings offered a liberation that transcended earthly dominion. This is why many scholars and theologians contend that Jesus did not merely start another religion, he ignited a revolution of the heart. His life and teachings continue to challenge us today, urging us to prioritize genuine compassion over rigid dogma, authentic relationship over empty tradition. The cross, initially a symbol of shame and execution, became the ultimate emblem of his redemptive love and sacrifice. It represents the ultimate act of self-giving. His message of radical love, forgiveness, and justice continues to inspire countless individuals and movements across the globe. Modern churches, when they truly embody his spirit, become places where people genuinely serve, love, and seek truth, reflecting his original vision. People reading Bibles today are still seeking that transformative truth. This enduring legacy is a testament to the power of his original revolutionary call. The revolution of the heart that Jesus initiated continues to unfold, challenging us to examine our own faith, our institutions, and our priorities. It asks whether we are truly following his example of selfless love and courageous truth-telling. His life remains a powerful sermon illustration, demonstrating that true spirituality is found in humble service and unwavering commitment to God's justice. This legacy is a constant invitation to deeper faith. So, was Jesus a rebel against religion? Perhaps the more pertinent question for each of us is this: are we willing to follow his profound example? Are we prepared to choose the authentic stirrings of the heart over mere ritual, to prioritize people and their genuine needs over rigid systems, and to embrace liberating truth over comfortable tradition? This is the enduring challenge of his message. This is the scholar's ledger, where the intricate interplay of history, faith, and power is thoughtfully revealed. We invite you to subscribe, share this discussion, and join us in this ongoing vital search for truth. Let us collectively strive to understand and embody the revolutionary spirit of Jesus, fostering a faith that is both deeply personal and profoundly impactful in the world.